Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I have cinnamon in my coffee this morning. And also, my 8-year-old balled out in his game last night. He was 3 for 3 with a single, a triple, and a home run. This kid was on fire, and he didn't swing at bad pitches. That tends to help. And we won 13-2, and we were not supposed to win. The kids did great. They hit great. When you hit, you can win. Okay, I wanted to start with this, and the market has been creeping back up. This market it was around 330 billion this morning, and I saw XRP was in the plus 3 or so % earlier today. But if you scroll down, you can see a lot of these things it's pulled back a little bit from what it was when I first saw it this morning, but you're at least seeing more green on the screen than we have been in the last few days. Now, Mr. B brought a clip to my attention from last night, yesterday evening, moments ago, an interesting statement about potentially using remittance as a tax source. Maybe we are going to do something with remittance. Listen to what Trump says, and then I'll show you what it immediately reminded me of.
Mexico is paying for the wall, just so you understand. They don't say that. They never say it. But we're going to charge a small fee at the border. You know, the toll booths. We have toll booths. It's the biggest border in the world in terms of people going across and in terms of industry. Believe it or not, the southern border. We're putting a small toll on, and maybe we're going to do something with remittance. That's where people come here, make money, and they send it back. So we'll do something, and we're going to get all the money that we spent on the mall.
All the money?
Will be coming back. So remember I used to say, who's going to pay for it? They'd say Mexico. That's right.
He just said 2 words that we have heard over and over and over the last few years. He said all the money, and he said remittances. How many times have we heard that word? Now, what is one of the biggest corridors for Ripple? One that we've seen over and over and over. On this show, I'm going to take you through some of Ripple / Mexico's greatest hits. So are you ready? Okay, here we go. The first thing that this reminded me of was this. For those of you that were around, you'll remember in the early part of the year, this is in February of 2020, we were seeing a lot of volume increases. This is from Warren Paul Anderson, 3 crypto exchange markets, Bitso, CoinsPH, BTC markets, showing how consistent taker volume through payments via Ripple ODL can increase liquidity over time. And this was the chart for liquidity index for Bitso, XRP, Mexican peso. And you can see how this was from August 25th of 2019 to February 6th of 2020 and how the volume had increased. We were seeing those charts over and over and over. Now this, and we're just taking a stroll down Mexico Ripple memory lane. This is from March 19th, 2019. Jalisco state government, which is a state in Mexico, met with Team Ripple to discuss how Mexico is leading the charge in blockchain and fintech. And that is Catherine Coley, who is now the CEO of FinanceUS.us. All right, and then we have this from Ripple. This is from August 9th, 2018. We're working with early adopters like Qualix to bring the cost of remittances, there's that word, remittances from the U.S. to Mexico down. The end user may not ever know what a digital asset is, that a digital asset's involved, but they're receiving their funds faster and cheaper. Isn't that what Trump was talking about in that clip? Then Ripple right here, February 28th, 2018. Thanks to Bitso for hosting, and to everyone who came out to meet up this week in Mexico City. We're excited to continue to share how XRapid and XRP can revolutionize cross-border payments. And for those of you that don't know, what is now ODL used to be called XRapid, and that's what uses XRP. And then there was this from Ryan Zagon. By the way, at the end of this video, I'm going to show you a pretty crazy clip that I think you'll like from a podcast. So strap in, folks. And then Ryan Zagon, Ripple applauds Mexico's lower house of Congress for passing fintech rules. Read more in my official statement. All right. So Ryan Zagon, who used to work for regulations for Ripple, and here's the article. Ripple applauds Mexico's lower house. Digital assets have great potential to lower payment costs and increase financial inclusion, especially when leveraged as FX tools by banks. We urge regulators to consider emerging enterprise use cases of digital assets as the bill is signed into law and regulations take shape. And then there was this from 2014, May 16th, a Ripple gateway in Mexico. And this is an article where they were actually, I guess this is when Mexican Bitcoin exchange Bitso is officially launched as the first Ripple gateway. That was the original launch. And then this is from Qualix. Nicholas Palacios describes how XRapid provides a major benefit to cross-border payments recipients in Mexico. Here we go.
Given that it's faster, more efficient, and more transparent, that can help us give that to our final client. Yeah. In Mexico, I believe we're the only ones using it. And Mexico is in need, the whole population, to have good financing products, the best financing products, and this can be the right way to do it. For them to be reached, not pay a lot of fees, and have their money right away.
And that looks like that was at Swell. Now, and this is another clip from Luis Sacco from Ripple, talking about XRapid in Mexico City Blockchain Summit Latin America.
Não? XRapid utiliza como ativo digital o XRP, não? E portanto, por ter a capacidade de fazer a transação em pouquíssimo tempo.
All right. Then we have this. This is Brad Garlinghouse with Julia Chatterley. Watch this.
Put numbers on it. You know, last week, we did $54 million of XRP flows into Mexico. That's 7.5% of all flow from US dollar to Mexican peso. About that.
All right. And then this was Ashish Burla back in 2018, illustrating Bitso in Mexico.
So some of you guys may know that we have a great customer out of the UK called Mercury FX, a really innovative payment provider. And what was interesting is like how they send money today using the antiquated wire system. This is called an FTP server. They actually drop files into an FTP server. It takes 3 to 5 days to process and finally gets over to the destination. Capital, that's why you have that lock, is locked up there because they actually need to have the pesos in Mexico before the payment is triggered. This takes months to set up. It takes days to send. It's cumbersome. It's not innovative, it's antiquated. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how our products, XVIA, XRapid, and XCurrent work together to improve the payment experience. XVIA allows you to use a one standard connection to get you all the benefits of RippleNet and our products. So, the base case is, without XRapid, they would use XCurrent and they would get rid of the need for the FTP server and the 3-day wait to process the files. They would use a modern API and a connectivity into the destination. They still have to have capital trap in Mexico via pesos and a Nostro account, but they get some of the benefits of faster processing and modern APIs. The magic is where XRapid is available, Mexico for example, they can then add on XRapid and move money on demand using XRP into Mexico and pay out instantly. US dollars through one of our partners, for example, Bittrex, is deposited and converted into XRP. XRP is then moved into Mexico via Bitso, another XRapid partner, converted into Mexican pesos, and then paid out via one of our XCurrent payout partners located in Mexico. They get all this with one standard connection. They get reach wherever XCurrent is available in Mexico, whether that be a bank, a cash payout provider, or in the future, an innovative mobile wallet. So that, in a nutshell, is how these three products work together to make an antiquated experience a revolutionary one and a great experience for Mercury FX and their customers.
So there you go. There's another great clip. And then this was another tweet back November 7th, 2019. This is the MoneyGram CEO on stage with Brad Garlinghouse. MoneyGram is sending 10% of volume to Mexico corridors through ODL, on-demand liquidity using XRP, moving money like data on ODL, Alex Holmes. And then we had this. This is also at 2019. Swell Ripple's from Bank XRP. Ripple's Eric Van Miltenberg, Senior Vice President, Ripple Business, swell interview. Watch this.
Depending on the jurisdiction around the world, regulators have different views on how to use digital assets. For example, in an extreme, you look at China or India, and they're not friendly towards digital assets. Other markets have more sort of progressive stances. And so we've been cautious to launch in markets where we can ensure that our customers are comfortable that there's regulatory clarity, they don't need to worry about anything. So we launched Mexico last year. We launched Philippines after that. Yesterday on stage, we announced that Australia was coming online. And there's a list of countries that are on the roadmap, Thailand being one for 2020. So we're not, and before we launch it, we, with our partners, we talk to the regulators, we want to make sure, we talk to the exchanges, we want to make sure everything is clear, there's clarity so that we don't put anybody in an awkward position.
Right. All right, and then we have this part, this is from a Ripple drop back June 7th, 2019.
What is on-demand liquidity?
On-demand liquidity is a way for our customers to send fast, low-cost payments without having to pre-fund the destination account. And so on-demand liquidity puts XRP in the middle of that payment from one country to another country to allow for the ability to send payments instantaneously.
So where is on-demand liquidity available?
So the received countries that we have available right now are in Mexico, Philippines, $31 billion every year going into Mexico, $33 billion every year going into the Philippines. And so this is a really high impact cross-border flow, and the first of many corridors that we will open up this year.
All right. So now the final thing I want to show you is something that was sent to me by XRP Platypus at J Skyway. Give him a follow. Sent me this clip from Joe Rogan's show. Okay. And this is a guy named Adam Curry. He's a podcaster, announcer, internet entrepreneur, and media personality known for his stint as a VJ on MTV and being one of the first celebrities personally to create and administer websites. So this guy's a really smart guy, and I listened to the whole thing. It's about a 3-hour podcast, but in this one clip, there's about 5 or 6 minutes here where I was like, whoa. Now, I'm not saying I believe everything he's saying here, but I'm saying you can. My audience is pretty smart. You can decide for yourself which parts of this you want to believe. But I can tell you this: there's a lot of things he's saying in here that make a lot of sense. So listen up.
It's concerning, all this vaccine, the mandatory masks, the disputes over. But I think it's really a sideshow to something much fucking bigger.
What's the biggest thing?
Well,
by the way, the language is a little rough.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, definitely. What is the one thing that we absolutely lost during the coronavirus? The one thing that went away. It was right in front of our face. We all saw it. Well, what the fuck? We were actually told it had to go away or was very dangerous. What is that one thing?
Probably your freedom. That's what I would say.
Just
your ability to move around, go wherever you want.
No, an actual control mechanism of freedom. Money went away, cash went away, coins went away. Everyone went digital money. And
when I heard that, and by the way, I'm not in any way agreeing that there was some plan for COVID and all that. What I do want to point out here is we've been showing that all of a sudden coins are disappearing. Nobody has cash. We've been seeing all this. We've seen the articles about the money being sprayed in China. I've seen those. I've shown them on here, I believe. But you have to wonder if once this COVID thing happened, if a plan that was on the shelf was not put in motion for a cashless society, something that they've had on the shelf waiting for the right time. You have to wonder that. Listen to what the rest of what he says.
We accepted it willingly,
without any thought that someone might be juking the system.
Well, let me continue.
Yeah.
World Health Organization showed Chinese money being sprayed to clean it from coronavirus, which of course we know is preposterous. But
Chinese money being sprayed?
Yeah, like in Shanghai, they were spraying money in the there were memes as well. There was lots of money can be dirty. There was
okay.
Everyone went.
I see what you're saying.
I'm not even going to fucking argue with you about the fucking money. I'm not going to touch it. That's what everybody said.
You can't argue with me about something I have no knowledge whatsoever of.
Too baked for that.
There's no way we can argue. How can we argue? I have no facts.
Exactly.
I'm not interested in arguments.
I have no argument.
There's another thing that people learn.
But there's more to this story.
Please go.
Okay, I think this is really important because it's happening right now. It's really cool.
Okay.
So that went away. And so everyone's kind of, now we're using apps.
A lot of digital
these
currency.
apps, it's all different networks and infrastructure. You're not really, Venmo actually connects to another company that then logs into your bank account and acts as you. There's all these different ways it's been kind of gerrymandered and rigged together.
So Venmo doesn't go right to your bank account? It has like a...
They go through a middleware, Plaid Networks.
The Dark Lord?
No, they just got bought by Visa for like $5 billion. So it's just another part of because banks traditionally never talk to each other.
We won't do whatever we can to maximize our profits. We promise. We'll be ethical.
You're gonna love it when I get there, Joe Rogan.
We demand social justice while we're sucking green bills out of your veins.
So, we're waiting for the stimulus checks, which is now being negotiated.
This is where it gets interesting.
This is, people need money. That stopped it's being held up, and we hear this. It's about FBI building being built. It's about giving states money. It's about all these different things, and then we also have this post office controversy. So these two things going on.
Shout out to the post office.
Well, the post office, it appears,
I've got cinnamon in my coffee. It looks like they're drinking.
Factor in a new digital dollar, which is currently called FedNet, and I think it's called FedNet. And it's basically
how are they involved?
Okay. All right. So, let's go back.
I'm nervous.
You remember Jekyll Island? You were talking to Duncan about Jekyll Island.
So with zero facts, by the way. How about that?
You guys
if I had
were
to pass
close.
a quiz on Jekyll Island, I'd get a 23.
You were pretty close. So Jekyll Island is where the Federal Reserve was created in 1910. In 1907, there was a crisis in America. There was a financial crisis.
Right.
And then the bankers, J.P. Morgan and the actual guys, the old, we have Chase Bank now, and that guy who started that bank and Warburg and a couple others, they said, this is fucked up. We got to be able to control the interest rate so we can, control the economy by boom and bust, basically, which we've been through all this time.
Where have you heard all
this? When
this?
they created it, they had to make that the official way to manage America's money. And a couple of years down the line, they got the Federal Reserve Act, which removed our money from the Treasury and gave it to the Federal Reserve. And that's these bankers. And they just gave it the cool name to make it sound like it's a part of the government, but it's not. So they create the money, they manage it, and the United States borrows it from them. You've heard this before, I'm sure.
Makes sense. You should definitely give them most of the money that we have. There's no need.
It's about to get a lot easier for them. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of it.
Poor people and hardworking folks to have any of that.
The Banking for All Act is what is on the table right now. That's why I believe the stimulus is held up, because they want to give people the money into a digital wallet, which everyone who has a Social Security number right now has a digital dollar wallet attached to that Social Security number. And all you have to do is, if you don't have a bank, you go to the post office, you show your Social Security number, your ID, and you'll get a debit card, and that is basically your entire bank on that card. And the government can put money on, which they will do, Which they will do. No. But it gets better, Joe.
Joe thinks he's crazy,
but
he's
me to
dead
blow your
on
mind?
How funny is that?
You want me to blow your mind?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Please.
So, because you're a fan of universal basic income, I'm going to tell you how it's going to work. This is coming.
Okay.
So you should really, you want.
Now, I didn't get to the part where he's talking about universal basic income. He kept bringing that up, and then Joe Rogan would interrupt him, and he got off course, and I never heard him really lay out what he thought about that, but it all makes sense. But the reason I wanted to play that for you is because I love it when we see someone from outside of the crypto world on Twitter and all. I love it when we see somebody that really has not been plugged in that is coming out of nowhere and saying all these things we've been seeing. And there's no question that we've been right about what's coming. It's just a matter of how right. This is degrees of right. I believe that we're 1,000% right. But here's the beautiful thing. I tell my dad this, the official father of the Digital Asset Investor channel. If we're 10% right, it's a grand slam, but I think we're 1,000% right. So, but if we're 10% right, it's the financial grand slam of our lifetimes. Okay. That's the way I see this. For that matter, if we're 1% right, it's the financial grand slam for those of us who have been here over about 2 years accumulating. Even 1%, but we're not 1. We're not 10. We're 1,000% right. Okay. I wanted to finish this up by showing you guys, if you haven't been looking, we talked about unstoppable domains, and I've been accumulating some of these myself. I just wanted to show you what some of these has sold for. We talked about sex.crypto. It sold for like $90,000. These you're seeing are Ethereum. So they're selling these in Ethereum. I think you can denominate your sales in anything you want. But property insurance .crypto sold for over $4,000. But what's interesting is if you go through some of these top sales, go down. I saw one that looks, this guy's selling oil.crypto. I bet you this one right here is going to sell for a fortune. He's selling it. I don't know if this means that he sold it for 2 Ethereum or if he's got it priced at this and this was the last bid. I'm not sure what that means, but what a domain that is. Oil.crypto. That's got to be, it's got to be worth what he's selling it for. I mean, there's no telling what that's worth. But anyway, if you haven't gotten them yet, you need to go to, it's a link in the description of all my videos. Go to, the link will take you to Unstoppable Domains and you can go and get these. They're like $40, folks. $40 if you come up with the right combination. And by the way, if you want something like LSU football.crypto, you'll never guess who owns that. This guy, the digital asset investor, owns LSU football.crypto. How about them apples? I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that yes, I own LSU football.crypto, but I hate LSU. Unless, of course, my son gets a scholarship to play baseball there, in which case I will gladly wear those ugly colors. Thank you for listening.
Every day, billions of people around the world are mocked, ridiculed, laughed at, and embarrassed by their friends, family, and even strangers. These people go through their days knowing there are secrets being kept from them. They hear the faint whispers behind closed doors. The information and knowledge is held very close and only shared with others who were fortunate enough to find out. Feeling lost, rejected, and ostracized, these people give up, never finding out what digital assets the digital asset investor holds. But there is hope. Join the free Digital Asset Investor email newsletter and find out what digital assets he owns each month, including investments he's considering. Click the link in the description of this video or go to digitalassetinvestornewsletter.com. Put an end to your days of gloom and depression. Join the greatest free digital asset email newsletter ever created.